I call the member for Dawson.
Well, thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker, and may I congratulate you on your reappointment to the chair. We just heard from the member for McMahon, blowing in the House and blowing the budget. But the member for McMahon, just shows the hypocrisy of this government. I mean, the reality is we are being the government that we promised to be. More than that, we are being the government that the Australian people expect us to be. A government that actually says what it means and does what it says. An adult government, a government committed to axing the carbon tax and the mining tax, a government committed to stopping the boats and securing our borders, a government committed to getting rid of the red tape in order to build this nation. And what hypocrisy have we seen from the speeches from those opposite? I mean, these were the people who said they were going to be fiscal conservatives before one election, and they went in and blew the bank, blew everything that was in the kitty, on pink bats, on overpriced school halls, you name it, they blew it. These were the same people that promised over and over again, hundreds of times in fact, that they were going to achieve a surplus. But where's the surplus? Debt and deficit is all we got from the last regime. And finally, these were the guys that promised infamously before 2010 that there will be no carbon tax under the government that they lead. And what did they do immediately after that? They brought in a carbon tax that has helped to wreck this economy. Now, more than that, they promised actually just before the last election that they were going to get rid of the carbon tax. They actually said that they had gotten rid of it, but it's still here. And here they are, these hypocrites in this chamber opposing our measures to try and repeal the carbon tax. They can't even keep their own promises. We've seen it time and time again. That's what we come to expect from this lot. But now they're trying to stop this government, this adult government, from keeping its promises. And they have the hypocrisy to come in here and to talk about keeping promises and lecturing us. Well, I'll tell you, in the last parliament, there was 149 out of 150 members who went to that election that promised that there would be no carbon tax, and Labor gave us one anyway. In this parliament, 149 out of the 150 members went to the election promising again that there will be no carbon tax, and now they want to keep it. Well, let's look at what the Liberal National Government promised the Australian public before the election and compare that with what is happening right now. We promised a number of important things to get this country back on track. We promised to build a strong and prosperous economy and build a safe and secure Australia. At the election, the people agreed with our plan, giving a strong mandate to implement that plan with a resounding yes. We promised to axe the carbon tax, to end the waste, to stop the boats, to build the roads of the 21st century. Repealing the carbon tax is a key initiative in removing those roadblocks that Labor and the Greens put onto our economy and into our economy. We promised to remove that tax to get the monkey off the back of industry and to lower power prices for families. We told the Australian people that the carbon tax repeal would be our first order of business, and it has been, despite the efforts of those opposite to frustrate things today. We promised to scrap the mining tax, and indeed that's coming. We promised to stop the boats, and since Operation Sovereign Borders has commenced, the number of boats has fallen by 75%. In contrast, these guys, Labor, dismantled the Howard government's proven border protection policies that resulted in more than 50,000 illegal boat arrivals arriving on their watch, creating a blowout of $11.6 billion. Now, we promised to cut red tape. Already we've commenced a commission of audit to end duplication and ensure that people get value for their tax dollars. We've already identified needless red and green tape that's choking industry. We've got agreements in place with Queensland and New South Wales to move towards a one-stop environmental assessment shop. That will create huge savings in time and money for business while enforcing environmental standards. We've already started making the tax system fairer by cleaning up the books that these guys left. Last week, the government dealt with 93 tax measures that were left unlegislated and unresolved by that government, by the Labor government. We've already moved to get rid of Labor's $1.8 billion FBT hit on the car industry. We've made these promises and we're delivering them because we want to get on with building the nation that the people actually want. We're keeping the promises that we made because they're about building a strong economy, like the one we should have. We're about being a government that we promised we would be, an adult government axing the taxes, stopping the boats, cutting the waste in order to build the nation.
The honourable member for Dawson's time has expired.